You know, I need to get these reviews popular somehow. They're seriously underperforming on this channel. Like, seriously, compare the views, and there is no lies here. But, how do I fix this problem? Maybe I should look in the unoriginal YouTuber encyclopedia. And aha! I found a pretty good idea. Talking about something that's way out of my demographic. Sounds good. It even has shovelware elements as well to make it even better. Oh yeah. Sup guys, Spacey here, and today I'm going to review something by Minigames again, after their amazing work on Retro on PS2, but this time it's a bit out of my demographic, with zero elements that even really make me a part of the demographic. Today's game is Girl Zone on PS2, and you may be saying, hey Spacey, why are you reviewing this game and not like any other title by Minigames? And my answer is, 1. I wanted to cover less famous games by them, and 2. It's an easy review. Shut up. So yeah, that's all I have to say for the intro. It's a shovelware game, what else do you expect? So let's get going with this review, but before we do that, I might as well mention that I will do the same format that I did with Retro on PS2, because every single one of these games are pretty shallow overall, and I'm not wasting a gameplay segment just whittling away at every game. That would get boring. So yeah, let's now get into the review with the first game. First impressions matter with games, and Girl Zone's first game, Fashion Planet, misses those expectations so hard it's not even funny. So this minigame sees our two girls, Julie! Yeah, you saw that joke coming from a mile away, and Mia compete on some Fashion Planet for some reason, and if you ever want to dress up a sex doll in a PS2 game, this game is perfect for you. Seriously, what's with these girl models? They look like the fakest shit I've ever seen in a PS2 game. And the gameplay? Well, you get this shallow guessing game with nothing to it. Seriously, this drags on for so long, and since you have no idea how to win, other than just get the amount of points, lol, it makes this game way more of a guessing game, and not one where you pick good clothes. And don't hit the circle button too early or accidentally press X when the show is over, as then you have to wait for a long ass time to get back into the game. Like seriously, how did this get past whatever testing this game had? But this is Minigames, and they have zero standards, so yeah. Let's move on before I get bored to death. Now we have the Flowers Planet, where the girls have to compete for the best flowers, and my god, this is the same guessing game as before, but slightly easier. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say for some of these games, but this is the most unique way they reuse this minigame, so yeah, best to move on to this and get to the way worse stuff. Kite, yeah, original title, is up next, and now we have to fly kites at balloons for some reason. Yeah, this game will be getting a 10 out of 10 for its plot for sure. And wow, an original game for once. That is slightly above what I expected for the company that made this. That doesn't make it good, however. No, since this game controls like ass and the sound design is awful. Like the popping one is fine outside being confusing, but the pickup sound? What was that? Did I get abducted? There's also no score, so you have zero idea if this is good or bad. Very confusing, and seriously incompetent. Thankfully though, I did win, and to celebrate, I said something every girl says at least once. Yes. But now we get into Wild Planet, and oh boy, this is bad. Now, I haven't talked about the graphics yet, but this level shows how bad it is. Like, seriously, the textures are JPEG to all hell, and the models don't even blend in. And that's not even talking about the flashing lights. People with seizures, I'm sorry. But yeah, this is just a shitty platformer with the angle and the weight of throwing a stone in low gravity, and enemies that just have one pattern, and that's all. Very disappointing overall. Very much so. Spaceship by comparison to the previous games though, is a pure nightmare. You see, this is a swapping game where you have to swap two objects to the right positions, but the problem with this is, well, the items don't look good, and how are you supposed to know that this toilet paper roll goes there? Like, they don't even blend it at all. If there's one thing that would help it at least a little bit, is that they would at least be in 3D. Slight foreshadowing. But what ultimately seals the deal with the shadiness is the music. And while the rest of the OST is somewhat bad, it isn't mindlessly repetitive like this tune. Seriously, I can't emphasize how annoying this track gets after minutes of trial and error. But eventually, I did make it and can move on to the next minigame. Thank fuck. Last minute cleaning is next, and after the girls crash a random airplane, they have to pick out essential items in order to set up. And we have another guessing game, but now it's about picking up items, which doesn't make too much of a difference. Really, that's all I have to say here, but one thing I noticed is that they don't consider a fire extinguisher to be an essential item at all. And I mean, like, what would happen if a fire broke out? Yeah, they didn't think this through, did they? But after that we get into our next minigame, known as C Fashion, which is... God fucking damn it. It's a clone of the fashion game? Like, how does this work without judges? Does a creepy masturbator judge these? And if you thought the previous fashion game was slow, well now it's even slower. Perfect for women, seeing as they had to wait for voting rights. But yeah, other than that, it's the same old same old. I seriously hope beach decoration is something different, and never mind. Seriously, it's the same game again, and for the second time in a row. And people wonder why these segments are so short. Like, what is there to say that hasn't been said before about the same goddamn minigame? Nothing really. Nothing at all. Well, at the very least, diving is something different, but it still isn't good. But first, I have to ask all the women in my audience something. Do you control like a submarine? Because these girls control like that, and it's also painfully slow to boot. Yeah, not ideal for a quick dodging game. The collectible items are also hard to determine as well, since they have an equal saturation to the background. One thing I have noticed though, is that beating the game with the exact score, despite telling you you won, did not actually complete the game since it was not on the leaderboard. So I had to do it all again with a higher score. And to show my frustration with the wasted time, I used another girl quote. Yeah, that's a good leaderboard name. I seriously hope Wild Mysteries isn't as bad and it's just last minute cleaning, but we're destroying the ecosystem. And you know what this means? We have another repeated minigame type. Yes, 2 minigame types are repeated throughout this entire fucking game. They're not even the somewhat fun games, just the lazy ones. At least this one uses levels instead of a timer, but that makes too little of a difference to matter much. Also, if you want to see some amazing PS2 environments, this game has you covered. Crunchy textures. But yeah, nothing's been gained here by playing all these minigames. But hey, we're at the final minigame, and the only unlockable one as well. It's called Constellations, and I hope this minigame elevates this game and actually makes the game itself end on a high note. And nope, it fails spectacularly. Like seriously, there is no game here. It honestly feels like something you would find in an activity center, not a full PS2 game. Like, there could have at least bothered to put a score here or something that would at least give it the illusion of a game, but I guess they couldn't be bothered. And if I were working on this game for Phoenix Games, I would half-ass it as well. And with that disappointing end, Girl Zone is officially over. And honestly, while most girl games are only basic minigame compilations, Girl Zone shockingly fails even compared to those, since there's barely anything holding it together, and the content that is there is held together by duct tape, and is basically ready to fall. So overall, on my scale, I'll give Girl Zone a -3, due to the lack of unironic value, but also unless you want to make a bunch of SJW and reading jokes, you can't get much ironic value out of it either due to how bare bones this game is, especially compared to other Phoenix Games titles which have a lot more content to them. So just skip this game overall unless you probably find it free on the back alley of a street or something. Though even if that situation happens, I guarantee you this game won't hold any value and it's not worth anyone's time. So that was a review, and honestly, I want to do more of these riffing reviews since they're honestly quite fun to do. Sure, they're very basic, but that's what makes them fun to do. Just make a ton of jokes and tear apart shitty video games. So I hope you enjoyed the review and comment your thoughts on it and give me your thoughts on this format of Spacey reviews. If reactions are positive, I'll keep doing this format, but if they're not, I'll abandon it. And this isn't even replacing the previous format either. Far from it. It's gonna coexist with the other one. So yeah, I'm gonna end off this review right now. So, this is Spacey, and goodbye!